Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to get into the psychology that separates the consistently profitable traders from, well, pretty much everyone else. And we're basing this on the incredible work of Mark Douglas. You know, it's this puzzle that drives so many traders crazy. You can have a fantastic strategy, you can do all the homework, all the analysis, and still end up losing money. Maybe you've even been there. You plan your trades perfectly, but then the minute the market opens, you do something totally different. So why does that keep happening? And here's the kicker. The source material is super clear about this. The trading problems most of us face aren't fixed with better charts or more indicators. They're fixed with a better mindset. In fact, you'll often hear that trading is 80% psychology. The consistency you're looking for, it's not out there in the market. It's inside your own head. All right, so how do we fix this? Well, before we can get to the solution, we've got to really understand the psychological trap that just keeps so many traders from getting consistent results. So right here, you can see the fundamental difference, the core conflict. The typical trader, they're looking for certainty. They're afraid of losing, and they desperately want the market to prove them right. But the pro, they're coming from a completely different place. They accept that things are uncertain, they actually embrace risk, and they focus on just one thing, executing their plan flawlessly. And this quote, man, it just hits the nail on the head. This really gets to the core of the issue. A lot of traders avoid creating a real, structured plan because deep down, they don't want to take full responsibility for what happens. They're kind of just hoping the market will do all the heavy lifting for them and make their dreams come true. So the big question is, how do you break free from that trap? It takes a massive shift in your perspective. You have to stop thinking like a player sitting at the poker table and start thinking like the person who owns the whole casino. Here's the secret, and it's a big one. The best traders, the ones who are consistently profitable year after year, they've learned they can't predict the future. They have no idea where the market is going next. And more importantly, they've realized they don't need to know. And this is the turning point. This is the whole ballgame. You need to operate like the casino, not like the gambler. A gambler is obsessed, absolutely fixated on the outcome of the very next hand. But the casino knows that in the grand scheme of things, one single hand is completely irrelevant. Let's really break this casino analogy down because it's just so powerful. Think about it. The house has no idea if you're going to win the next hand of blackjack. It doesn't know and it doesn't care. What it does know is that over thousands and thousands of hands, its tiny statistical advantage, its edge, is going to pay off. It just executes that edge perfectly every single time. And it is completely 100% emotionally detached from whether you win or lose any single bet. Okay, so to think like a casino, you need an edge. But what does that word even mean? It gets tossed around all the time, but its real definition is probably way simpler and way more powerful than you think. And here's the crucial thing. An edge is purely about probability. It is not a guarantee. So, for example, if your trading system wins 60% of the time, your edge is that 20-point difference over a simple coin flip. That's it. It doesn't tell you which trades are going to win, only that over a large sample size of trades, you've got a statistical advantage. And this quote from the source material just boils it all down perfectly. An edge is just a higher probability. When you truly let that sink in, you stop looking for proof that your next trade is going to be a winner, and you start focusing only on one thing. Are the conditions for my edge present right now? This whole idea leads us to what are called the 5 fundamental truths. Think of these as the core beliefs you absolutely have to burn into your brain if you want to operate with a probabilistic mindset. First up, anything can happen. I mean, literally anything. No matter how perfect your setup looks, how certain you feel, it only takes one other trader, somewhere out there in the world with an opposite opinion and a big enough account to completely wipe out your edge on that one single trade. Number 2, you don't need to know what's going to happen next to make money. I'll say that again. If you have a clearly defined edge that has positive odds, you can be very profitable over a series of trades without having a clue what any single one of them will do. You just have to let the probabilities play out. Third, and this is a tough pill to swallow for a lot of people, your wins and losses are randomly distributed. This means that even a killer strategy that wins 70% of the time can still have a long, painful, gut-wrenching losing streak. You just can't get attached to the outcome of the next trade because you never know what the sequence will be. Fourth just hammers it home again. Your edge is simply a higher probability, not a crystal ball. When you really get this, it stops you from looking for more certainty outside of your system. Looking at another indicator or reading another news article. All that does is introduce randomness and actually messes up your edge. And finally, number 5, every single moment in the market is unique. This is so important because it stops you from carrying emotional baggage. It stops you from letting your last trade, whether you won big or lost big, influence your decision on the trade that's right in front of you now. It keeps you focused on the opportunity that exists right now, in this moment. So when you really, truly embrace these 5 truths, you start building a completely new mindset. It becomes your foundation, a framework that lets you act without fear, without hesitation, and without being reckless. And this right here is the ultimate takeaway. True, lasting trading consistency comes from your internal framework, your discipline, your focus, your beliefs. It does not come from finding some perfect, magical strategy that never loses. That thing just doesn't exist. So, at the end of the day, it all comes down to a choice. The choice is between being a gambler, just pulling the lever and hoping to get lucky on the next random outcome, or being the casino operator who calmly executes their statistical edge over and over again, knowing with total confidence that over time, the odds are stacked firmly in their favor.